Well, welcome back to the When I Heard This podcast. My name is Nate Robinson. I'm here with Pastor Joseph Tillman, Dr. Demon Jr.
Yes. You say it differently every time, but yeah. Hey, man. Good to see you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm well.
Cool. Good.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't well earlier in the week. I was sick as a dog, but
right.
I'm much better now. Hopefully,
I knew you were sick after you got back from
Columbia. No, that's the thing. It wasn't
and
even...
I said that during the episode.
Like, you will get sick.
But somehow I didn't get sick.
Hey, glad you didn't. All right. But yeah, but I actually didn't get sick. Like, I wasn't sick because of Columbia. I came home sick and my whole household was sick.
Yeah, but your immunity was bad after being down there, so.
Well, probably.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
From all the foreign things.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just little stomach stuff, but outside of that, it was fine.
Sure.
Right. And then I got all this like head congestion and stuff, but it's all good now. So
okay.
Hopefully I don't sound nasally. So
no.
Yeah, if I do, I apologize. I'm on the
not any more than normal.
I'm on. Well, that's good, I guess. And yeah. Felt terrible on Sunday night and Monday and Tuesday, but much better today.
That's okay.
Okay.
I mean, unless you feel bad still.
No.
Good.
I mean, just a little bit of congestion, but that's it.
Cool.
So I'm good.
All right, one more missions trips.
All right, let's do it. I love mission trips.
Right. Read the ad again.
Before we get started today with our questions, we want to shout out our sponsor, the Discipleship Group. The Discipleship Group is a systematic training for Christians who want to go deeper and grow stronger in their relationship with God. In these courses, Dr. Jay Zen brings you over 4 decades of study, pastoring, and teaching to equip the saints to make disciples. The Discipleship Group is a series of 6 books, each book consisting of 26 weeks. Therefore, it's 3 years of study. Each week has articles written by the author to read, a chapter from a supplemental book, like The Passion for God or More Than a Carpenter, The Master Plan of Evangelism, and there's scripture readings each week from the Old Testament, New Testament, and the Psalms. I've used the Discipleship Group resources for over a decade. I've used them in groups of 2 to 3 people. I've used them in small groups up to 12 people. And I can tell you, as a pastor, as someone who spends a lot of time making disciples and meeting with others, that the Discipleship Group resources are the best that I have found for growing in our faith and for encouraging us to go and make disciples ourselves. Go to discipleshipgroup.com, check out their resources, find out information about Dr. J, and I'm telling you, you will not regret it.
All right, Patreon. There's different tiers now. You can go there. We're going to do stuff on there soon when I can get Joseph to stop going to other states and other countries and stop hanging out with church people so much and his family and doing conferences and feeding the homeless and whatever other stuff church pastor do.
Right.
Yeah, so when that day comes, when Joseph's like 98...
Because there's no retiring from me, buddy.
No.
Nope. Simply don't make enough.
Jesus never retired.
Yeah.
He didn't retire until he died.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he still didn't retire.
No, because then he came back and did more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forever. But God rested.
On the 7th day?
Yeah.
Are we going back to creation now? Yeah. So Father, Son, and Holy Spirit all rested at that point. Yes.
Yeah.
But then they're all still actively doing as well.
Right. Unless they're resting.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have time to go into all this today, but sure. It's like a whole other theological discussion.
Yeah, Patreon. And then our website has merch.
Yes, it does. So you can get your hoodies. Hey, man, we're moving closer into the fall.
Right.
It's starting to feel good in the mornings when you wake up around here.
Mm-hmm.
And so go ahead and get hoodies and long sleeve shirts. This is the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get your mugs.
Word.
Get your mugs when you got your hot chocolate and cocoa and all that stuff going on for this cool weather.
Earl Grey.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
That guy.
Or even just coffee.
Yeah.
It works for coffee too.
Or you can put cereal in it like a weirdo.
You know, I had this friend, and that's how he always had ice cream.
Oh yeah.
He'd always put,
Yeah.
I think it was to manage portions or whatever, but like he'd always just put like a scoop of ice
Or
cream.
to keep it cooler because it's more contained.
Yeah, but I think it was portion control.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe I thought that.
Was he
But maybe
fat?
you're right. No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that wasn't it.
Yeah, but I think he had some like every day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
That makes sense.
I think it really was like portion control. It was
You can't
like,
do that every day.
he would crush ice cream every day.
Cool.
Yeah. And,
All right.
and he's not diabetic, so that's good.
Facebook.
Yeah, go there. Like. Follow.
Like.
Yeah.
Comment.
Sorry.
Share.
Yeah, all those things.
Do stuff.
Absolutely.
Cool. More mission trips.
More mission trips.
All right. I'm ready to go. Because I had a question from last time that I didn't get to ask.
Okay.
And I've shopped this question around a little bit.
Oh boy.
Asking other people what they thought.
Okay. Now I'm intrigued.
Yes. So I already asked you the question.
Did you? Okay.
Sort of.
All right.
All right. First question. Okay. So Christians always be bitching that we used to have a Christian country and now we keep losing our Christian country.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. People are complaining about. Yes.
Yes.
They're upset about that.
People are. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So. Okay. First question: Do you wish that wasn't so?
Okay. Do I wish that our country was more Christian? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Like
than it is right now.
than it is right now? Well, sure. I wish. In other words, this is what I mean by that. I wish our country had more Christians in it, because that would mean more people would be saved.
Okay.
And therefore, but because there would be more Christians, obviously that would also be reflective in our own policies and laws. So sure.
Okay, so then why do you go to other countries and try to make them Christians before fixing your own country and making them more Christian?
Okay.
That doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Because one Sunday, the pastor will get up there and be like, can't believe all these people, the next generation, blah, 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 not following the Lord and doing all this, blah, blah, blah. And then the next week, they send 20 teenagers to wherever and try to convert them to Christianity.
Okay.
And so why is, if the trend is bad in America, which according to every bit of every Christian right now, it is.
Right.
Why are we sending people to other countries to make them Christians instead of doing it here?
Okay, that's fair. All right.
I don't get it.
Okay.
Just on a logical level, I don't understand.
Okay. So a couple things I want to say to this.
Okay.
All right. Number one, so actually in our own country, we're actually seeing a tick back up toward individuals becoming Christian.
Okay.
So it's the first time, seriously, it's the first time in like 25 years we're actually seeing a rise in Christianity.
Okay, so for those 25 years, why did anyone go to any other country instead of everyone staying here and trying to reverse the trend? Sinner.
Yeah, no, I got you. So
yeah.
I guess I don't feel like it has to be an either or proposition.
But shouldn't it be?
No, I don't think so. Like, all right, here's why. Here's why.
Okay.
Here's why. Because the reality is that Jesus wasn't, even Jesus himself, even though his own ministry started in Galilee, right? Like that's predominantly where they were. They were moving around all over the place, trying to share, not trying, but sharing the gospel, see people get healed, all those kind of things. And so the message was spreading. And so even like when he's about to ascend, after resurrection, he's about to ascend, Acts chapter 1, verse 8, he's talking to his disciples and he said, hey, when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, you're going to be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, and Samaria, and even to the ends of the earth. And so it's true that So, when the Holy Spirit is poured out on the day of Pentecost in Jerusalem, and 3,000 people are saved in a day, and then we have numbers that are added, later on throughout. So the Church of Jerusalem is growing, but they didn't just stop there, right? Persecution ends up happening, and then they have to flee because of that. And so some do stay, but then, others go throughout Judea, but in particular into Samaria. And then you start seeing the movement of Christianity going from, Judea, Samaria, that part of the Mediterranean world up, right? So it's pushing up to what we now know as like Turkey, and then over and into Europe, and so into modern day Europe. And so it's spreading. My whole point being is Christianity has never been a movement that's just been like localized into one area where they all like hunkered down and were like, hey, we only need to care about what's happening right here. Like that's never been the case for Christianity.
Okay, but given our current world political stuff,
sure.
If America stopped being Christian, wouldn't the whole world be screwed?
Okay, well, no, the whole world would not be screwed.
I mean, wouldn't you say kind of, though?
No, and here's why. This is what I would say.
Okay.
I would say the world wouldn't be screwed, but our country would be. But Christianity is growing so rapidly in South America and in Africa and in even parts of Asia, like India, for example.
Yeah, because all of our missionaries keep going over there instead of focusing here. That's what I'm saying. I don't get it.
No. What I'm saying is,
let's just let America go to shit, and we can all move to Africa. Let us in. We'll be slaves for you. As long as we can be Christian without persecution.
You can't say that.
I don't understand.
Okay. We're definitely not keeping that. All right. So
I don't get it.
I know you don't get it. All right.
Of course they are. Of course. You were just there. You weren't here. I don't get it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Wow. All right. No, but Christianity is exploding in those countries. Not just okay. Listen to me. Not just because there's all these, missionaries from other countries that are there. It's because Christianity is exploding in those countries because they're sharing the gospel themselves amongst their own countrymen, and so there's this explosion of Christianity that's happening.
Then why?
I know.
Then why do you need to go there? I don't get it.
No. Okay.
Everything you keep saying is
then. All right. Right. No. Okay. All right. No. All right. I feel like I should have brought books with me. All right. Because at this point, it's like I want to read from different scholars that are both Western and coming from third world or majority world. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So there's a couple of things that are happening that you're not wrong in. All right. So. All right, here's where you're not wrong.
Okay, thank you.
Here's where you're not wrong. Is that the reality is that the mission movement is shifting. It is transforming. Mm-hmm. It's not what it used to be. Okay?
Okay.
Here's what I mean by that. What it used to be was that individuals from America or Europe, those missionaries would go, right? Because they had to. We needed people to go to share the gospel.
I mean, they didn't have to.
Okay. Okay. You're right. They didn't. No one had to, but they chose to, right?
Right.
Because these other countries, these other areas needed the gospel, right? So individuals go, and so they needed gospel. They needed humanitarian aid. They needed hospitals. They needed all those basic things, and so there's they needed wells dug so they could have clean water and all this stuff, right?
Okay.
So. That was the missions movement that was really prevalent happening in the 20th century. Okay. And so through the 18 and 1900s, man, that was missions. Okay. But then as we kind of turn the corner, if you were, into the 21st century, there was a shift. There has been a shift in the missions movement, because now it's not just in missions. Even when I was in theology school in the early 2000s, there was a lot of conversations of how the theological center of education and those kind of things would eventually shift to Central and South America and or Africa, because as Christianity was declining here, it was growing exponentially there in those countries. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know. So this is where I'm saying you're right, because there's been a shift away from what ministry has been and to what it is now. And that's why I'm saying I do think that I think there's still need. There's still a need for missionaries in other countries. Okay. We still need missionaries in other countries. Like there's nothing wrong with the missionaries going into areas and helping, to strengthen and encourage churches and help bring equipping and training, or it may be that missionaries feel called to go there and actually help them with, the humanitarian stuff, or it could be that they go there to help them because there's a desperate need for a focus on how can we help end, human trafficking, for example, right? And so I think there's a desperate need for missionaries throughout the world going, and not just from the West. This is one of the big shifts. It's not just from the West or from the West to majority countries. It's now missionaries are being sent from various countries to various countries. And I think that's a cool endeavor.
That's part of why this doesn't make sense.
Right.
So why don't all of us just all stay in our own countries and do our missionary stuff in our own country?
Because I do think that's for me, the body of Christ as a whole actually needs one another. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Like we need each other.
Again.
And so there's individuals that are in majority world, and they're like, hey, we really could use training. Hey, we really could use discipleship tools. Hey, we really could use help can you help us in these, particular, endeavors? And so I think there's need for that. But what's cool is that there's missionaries and scholars and theologians, that are rising up in these other countries as well. Like even in my own cohort at Asbury, in my doctoral program, there were individuals in my own cohort that were from India and from Africa, and that's awesome, So there's scholars and theologians being raised up in these countries as well. And thank God for them. And because they're going to be a significant help and to their own countrymen and to us, to give, one of the coolest things was to hear from them toward us, hey, this is what we see in America. This is what, to hear their words to us is awesome. And so there's a lot for them to teach us as well, is what I'm saying. So I guess what I'm saying is I think there's a need in missions that's more specific than it used to be. Okay. It used to be we needed to flood these countries with missionaries so the gospel could get out. Okay. And then when the churches started growing, people started coming to know Christ. All right, now we got to really train and raise up pastors and those kind of things, right? But now you're finding Bible schools and all this kind of stuff in all these different countries now. It's not just America. And so that's the cool part, right? So we'll see them get raised up and trained. And yes, there's still a lot that we have to offer and to them, and they have to offer to us. And so I think that's a beautiful part. So that's what I'm saying. I think missions can be much more specific, right? I think missions can be a much more targeted endeavor than maybe it used to be. All right.
Okay.
But do I think we just need to end all? No, because I think we're missing the point if we do that. Because it's not just it's not just the point of, because I think at this juncture, it's not just at the point of seeing people get saved. They need us for that, or they need us to, send money, or I think we're beyond those points. Okay. Now I do think monetary assistance can be a big help. Okay. I'm not downplaying that. But I think we've moved beyond those points to where now it's a global community in the sense of we're actually can share with each other, can grow with each other. I think that's a significant part. So what I'm saying is I don't think we should ever be cut off from the global church as a whole. But in America, I don't disagree with you in the fact that we do need to focus. I think there has been. I think that's why we're actually seeing a little bit of a trend turning. Okay.
I don't think that's why we're seeing a trend.
Okay. Well, I this is why I think we are.
Okay.
It's because I think I think one of the things for me that's been really interesting to watch the church in America deal with is political issues, moral issues, social issues, even policy type issues. And I think there's becoming a clear distinctive between the more progressive churches and those that are, believe that Christ, is the only way, that the scriptures are true. And they're going back. What I'm saying is they're going back and they're teaching scripture. They're going back to simple gospel. And I think that is insanely appealing to people who just never had that growing up. And so I do think there's been a turnaround as churches as a whole, like even like ours, but that's cool for me because it's way more than just like our little church here. Like all these churches are like just teaching Bible and teaching gospel and showing people, man, this is actually what it looks like to follow Christ. And I think there's been like an awakening in that sense. And especially among a younger generation who did not grow up going to church. And so they're hearing about Jesus, gospel, Bible, maybe not for the first time, like we're not completely post-Christian where they never heard the name Jesus, but they really don't know anything about him. They don't know anything about it except for maybe their own stereotypes of what Christianity is or what this religion is. But when they're encountering the simple and true gospel, the genuine gospel, and Jesus and his word, I think something is appealing about that. Because I think it's connecting with something that all of us want to connect with, and that's being something of greater than us. So that's why I think you're right. We need to give more attention here. I think more attention has been given here. And I do think we're adjusting how we're engaging with missions across the world. And so I think all of this stuff has actually been transpiring over the last 20 years.
Okay.
It's just we're starting to maybe now see the fruits of it at this juncture.
I think religious people are just having more children.
Well,
and the non-religious people, everything they stand for is anti-children. And so it's just, 1 + 1 = 5.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, and that's definitely a part of it.
You know what I mean?
Right. No, I mean, that's definitely a part of it is that, yeah, your religious individuals, especially your Christians, your evangelicals, your Catholics, those, they're having more kids than non-religious, than the quote unquote, the nuns, right? Those that are non-religious. And so like that's I think that's a big deal too. But I do think, to me, what's been interesting is to see the effect of people just having an encounter with the true gospel, maybe for the first time, and responding to that, because I think it does resonate with them. And I just, I don't know, maybe we're finally got to a generation that's just tired of all of what maybe your generation, not to throw all the millennials under the bus, valued.
I thought you were a millennial also.
No, I'm a Gen Xer.
Ugh!
Yeah.
Our generation's terrible. We suck. Yeah.
Y'all kind of do.
I'm doing this. This is...
You and every other millennial has a podcast. Right, I know. And so...
It's like, you have a podcast? Oh, my God.
Yeah. And... So, but
yep,
I mean,
the other guy's white too.
Yep, I know. Just a oppressive jerk. All right, so but even as like, it's nothing like Gen X has anything to brag about either. I mean, like our, we were just rebellious for the most part.
Yeah.
And just anti everything establishment.
Yeah.
And so that's Gen X.
Guess I'll be management.
Like whatever, yeah. So, but I do think, when you hit the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha, there's definitely a turn amongst that age range, the young Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas. So,
yep.
So I think we can do both, Nate.
I think
we can engage in missions, and I think we can also focus here.
All right, well then everyone needs to stop complaining. Because if you're going to go to another country and leave your dying Christian country behind, then shut up about it.
Oh, no, again, it doesn't have to be like just because like I took a mission trip to Colombia, it doesn't mean I was like, well, screw you, America, for the next week or months or whatever.
But Dad, we're going to get persecuted next week because we're Christians, because no one else is Christians anymore. Don't care, kids. I'm going to Colombia.
Right.
I mean, you don't feel like...
No, that's not at all how I felt. No.
Kind of seems like it.
Zero.
I don't understand. I know you just explained it to me, but I still don't get it.
What's so hard to understand about the fact that you can do both? I don't understand why that's hard to get your head around.
The question is, should you be doing both? Not can you do both?
Sure, you should be doing both.
But okay.
All right, but I do think it's a good point. All right, here's what I would say. The things that we're doing in other countries, like sharing gospel, right?
Yeah.
Helping people who are in need. I think actually in America, we got away from our local churches doing that here.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with that. We got away from that. And what I'm saying is that we can do both. So anything that we're going to do in other countries, let's make sure we're doing here as well.
Yeah, but why wouldn't it be like 90-10 or
but I think for
95-5?
But I think
until we reverse the trend.
Right. But I think for a lot of churches, to be honest with you, it probably is 90-10.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this is where I think the unfortunate part is. I do think it's 90-10 in regards to 10% of our maybe budget and interest and time to other countries, 90% here. What I think the problem became was that the 90% of our time and budget and interest here was not on sharing gospel and was not on reaching our community with local needs.
Okay, so why aren't you focused on trying to get other churches to make sure that 90% is spent the right way?
Okay, so why am I not?
Yeah, why are you in a foreign country instead of making sure that other countries
or other churches,
other churches are spending their 90% correctly? Why is that more important than that?
I don't know if there is one more that's more important than the other. I don't think me going to Colombia is more important than going to build a wheelchair ramp for someone in our community.
But you did one and not the other. You spent your time doing one and not the other.
But I built a wheelchair ramp, or with a group that built a wheelchair ramp 3 weeks ago.
I didn't mean to make this personal.
No. All I'm saying is but all I'm saying is like you're creating this dichotomy to me that doesn't have to exist, right? Like I can give time and interest, and resources to. Because it's like for me, so I get to pour into these pastors and leaders at this conference, right? So I have an opportunity to preach and teach, with 120 or so pastors and leaders, from churches all throughout Colombia. Wow, so then they get to take that and have an impact in their own areas, right?
I guess I'm looking at it like, okay, so the whole thing about if I don't have enough food for my own family, then I shouldn't be inviting the neighbors over for dinner.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Okay, so that's the comparison I'm trying to draw.
Okay.
Like if I'm leaving according to your Christian logic of our country is dying, or it has been for 25 years and it just turned around.
Right.
Then if I'm leaving a not Christian country for my kids to grow up in, why am I trying to make a better country for other children to grow up in?
Yeah.
By making that a more Christian country, if our standard is more Christians in the country equals better country.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
That's the distinction I'm trying to draw.
Right.
I don't understand.
Right. And I guess what I don't understand is I take 1 week, 2 weeks, right?
Okay.
For me to go do, and that's what most people are doing, right? If they're leaving the country on a mission trip.
And I realize I'm saying this to a pastor who is
Right.
98% here doing pastor stuff and just spend a week somewhere else.
Right. And so, right. And I think...
And I'm criticizing you for a week.
Right. That's kind of what I'm getting to.
I know,
right?
I get it. But
like, so for me, that doesn't, for me, again, if I have an opportunity to go, and it doesn't have to be like I'm leading, like this. If I get an opportunity to take a team and we're going down to Guatemala and we're helping them, again, whether it's build eco stoves or make water filters or helping them like with a well or whatever, right? Like, I just think that, okay, so you're doing that for 2 weeks or whatever it may be. And you got a team with you and that's what you're doing. You're putting your money into it, your time into it. So that's cool. So that's that 2 weeks. But the reality is what? I mean, of our church family, maybe 5% are going to go on a mission trip in a given year,
Mm-hmm.
Like, in other words, so 95% of the people in the church then are here the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think this is where I think when I said the time, the resources had been misused by churches in America for a long time.
Yeah.
We weren't training people to go out and share their faith. We weren't training people to go and make disciples.
So why aren't you here trying to fix that?
And that is what I just wrote a whole freaking dissertation on it. What are we talking about? And so, I mean, I'm going to give you a copy.
I haven't seen it.
I know. I'm going to give you my copy. And God Almighty. And so, anyway, I just got notifications being published. But anyway, regardless.
Really?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. And so
then we can do an episode on it.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So final copy's all done and all that
Good.
kind of stuff. So I should have a copy within the next month, maybe. And I ordered an extra one. To let people borrow, I'll let you be the first one to borrow it so you can read it and then then critique it and then
the hell out of it.
Right. Why did you write that?
Yeah.
That's stupid. Yeah. And so anyways. So I think that I do think that for me, that's what I was talking about earlier. That's why I think that's one of the things that's changing is I do think a lot of pastors are getting back to equipping their own people to share the faith, to make disciples, to be engaged in community need.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's been a movement of getting back to that. And I think that's been so desperately needed because for let's say from the 80s up until, let's say we'll go early 80s to early, 2020s, somewhere around there. Like, I think a lot of it was focused on, we got to build up our own church. We're going to create all these programs. We're going to have all these, everything come to us is what I'm getting to. Like, let's all go to the church. Every time the doors are open, let's bring people to the church. And I think what we were not doing is preparing people to go back out into the world. Or we were consuming all their time with them trying to be at church for all the different programs. They never even had a chance to hang out with people outside of church. And so I would hope now what's happening is people are engaging in the marketplace. They're engaging in their neighborhoods. They're engaging in whatever community activities. And they're able to be able to say, hey, and feel equipped to actually share their faith with somebody. Feel equipped to actually sit down and go through a Bible study with someone and make, that's the goal in our church. Someone asked me the other day, like, what is your goal in 5 years? And my goal would be that our church would be like so thriving with people leading people to Christ, making disciples, elders teaching, individuals leading Bible studies. Man, I could drop over dead in 5 years and they'd be like, we'll miss you, but we're going to keep going. Like, the ministry is just that thriving. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so I think for me, just because of hanging out in the pastor world with other pastors, I feel like there's been a shift and people are starting to think that way again.
Okay.
And so I think that's a huge difference. And hopefully we can take advantage of a younger generation that is looking to reconnect with God. And the word religion doesn't maybe scare them as much.
So people can use missions trips as a way to avoid dealing with their own life.
Okay.
Like, I screwed up my whole life here. I'll just go on a missions trip. And that makes me feel superior than my old life.
Okay.
And have you seen this before?
I've seen it not only feel superior, but I've seen people go on mission trips out of like desperation.
Because they have nothing?
Because their life is, feeling like it's falling apart or has fallen apart.
Right.
And they're hoping that the mission trip will do something, to bring some sense of whether it's stability or clarity or focus or something.
Okay. So is that a good reason to go on a missions trip?
Oof. It can be. I guess I've got examples floating around in my head. Mm-hmm. I remember being in an airport and there was an individual and we were going to Brazil and we were talking and they were sharing about why they were going to Brazil.
Uh-huh.
And they were having a lot of mental health issues and they just like bluntly said like I feel like this is my last, not like my last chance, but my last opportunity maybe for something to work. It's like a last ditch effort. I'm hoping that this will help me with my mental health condition, and I'm thinking, oh boy, like that, this is a big ask out of a mission trip.
Can't wait to hop on a plane with you.
Right. Like this is going to be a big ask. And, we were in Brazil for 2 weeks and it absolutely transformed their life. And like mental health issue stuff just like, just like drastically changed. And so but they also received a lot of deep inner healing prayer. And it was the right mission trip for this person. If they had gone to like a trip with us to Guatemala, it may not have happened. Like it may not have been the right trip, but this trip to Brazil where we did a lot of ministering to one another and that kind of thing. And they received a lot of prayer and a lot of just inner healing. It really, that was very impactful for this person.
So you guys went down there to talk to each other?
Well, we had, so the way our trip was set up was that every morning we had Bible study, followed by ministry time. And then by, let's say, 10, 11 o'clock, we're in we go out to the favelas. Mm. We're there for the rest of the day, come back to the mission base, clean up, and then we go to a service that night to minister. Okay. Was the way this was set up. So we had every morning you had time for ministry together. And so a lot of times in that context of those morning Bible studies, that's where a lot of that deep kind of prayer for one another and healing, those kind of things would happen. Now, and I've seen some, insanely powerful stuff down there. Individual who came in like forced to go, basically was a daughter of somebody who was forced to go. They were, like full blown like witch. And on a mission trip. That was interesting.
Wait, one of the people you brought?
I didn't bring them. They got sent on the team by a parent.
A witch did?
Yeah. Yeah. And
okay.
Yeah.
I feel like you're bringing the wrong message down there.
well, we didn't let the individual preach or minister, but man, she didn't want to go. She everything was just dark and black and it was just it was wild, man.
How does that happen?
I'm telling you,
like,
man,
what
crazy stuff happens. And so anyway, but and it wasn't just like a mission trip, like a 2-week mission trip. Like the parent basically like forced the child to come down there for a month to do like a month-long internship down there with us. And so she was in the internship program with me. I was one of the interns.
Hey guys, we accidentally brought a Satanist down here. So
yeah, so watch out for that one. Yeah.
And, what?
Yeah. And the girl got completely delivered. Came to know Christ.
Yeah, delivered by you guys to another country.
No, thank God. Came to know Christ, got delivered from all the demonic strongholds in her life. And by the time the internship program was over, it was like a completely different person, man. It was
all her clothes were white now.
We did go buy her new clothes. Yeah. Like it was wild, dude.
Somehow God accidentally poured some bleach in the wash with her clothes.
Like it was crazy. It was absolutely wild, man.
Okay, so I guess the next logical thing to ask you
I don't know if there's anything logical following this.
No, there is.
Okay.
So is there a certain type of headspace that I should be in before I go on a missions trip? Like, should I be going down there for myself?
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think
a parent be forcing their kid that doesn't want to go down on a mission trip?
Yeah, like I wouldn't.
Okay.
Unless you just felt like, man, I'm trying to provide something for my child, hoping something will click, hoping something will, transform in their lives, whatever it may be. But I think when you force someone to go out of the country, like that's a big jump, dude, because you're dealing with like,
I'd have jumped out of the plane.
well,
I don't know how you do that safely, but
I
wouldn't have cared.
You don't. So, but I think that, because the reality is like you get down to these countries and like you're going to experience culture shock. You're coming from America, and the next thing you know, you're walking around the favelas. Man, you're in culture shock. The food, the smells. I mean, back in that day, when we get off the plane and you're just walking on, you come like straight out of the plane and you're just onto the tarmac. There's nothing like there's no you're not walking through like a terminal gate or anything, right? You're just, right onto the tarmac, and like the smells would just hit you immediately.
You're just in the jungle.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's just, the smells would just hit you immediately, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is not, like, I'm not in America anymore, right? And so I think for most individuals in trips like that would be, if they're already struggling, that can be a really tough place to be better, right? Like to get better. So I would think that most people going on mission trips, hopefully their desire is to go and to serve,
Okay.
Because if it's not about them and meeting their needs and their expectations, generally speaking, those people get the most out of it.
Okay.
Because they're kind of willing to roll with whatever happens, because the reality is you get in these third world countries, and schedules just get tossed out the window. Like it's just new things every day are happening. And so, hopefully you're going again in a context to serve. And I would hope that would be the motivation, the headspace for most people. Yeah. So to loop back to the original question of like, if, should people go there to like avoid problems and those kind of things? I would say not to avoid problems, but maybe if individuals realize that in their own life, it's kind of a mess and they need to get away and maybe hopefully get a better perspective of how to come back to life. I think that can work with the right team on the right trip.
Okay.
Not every trip is set up and I think that's one of the things to be very clear about. Like, not every mission trip is the same, because not every place you go is the same. Not every team you go with is the same. Not every group has the same, expectations of what they're going to do and that kind of thing. And so I as a pastor, when people want to go on mission trips, I'm trying to be mindful of like, is this the right trip and place for them, because not always, and even before that, you said, the life's a mess. They go on a mission trip, they come back and they're like, look at me, super spiritual or whatever. Yeah. And that does happen. Like, and I wish it didn't, but it does. You have people who come, and a lot of times
they just have a general, going on mission trips makes me better than you.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are individuals, and let's say life's okay here, but they still feel that superiority of,
right.
I go on mission trips.
Yeah.
And yes, that is there.
And they don't do it for God. They do it for just themselves.
Yeah. And some of them don't even realize that though.
Okay.
Like, I think they feel like they're doing it for the Lord. But I think sometimes what happens is, and I've been this way, I've been guilty of this early on doing missions, of don't you care about the rest of the world? Or almost like, I feel, you're like, no, but I feel like, and sometimes you can be like, I feel better about myself because I do care, or I do know what's going on, or I have been to these other countries.
Right.
I have seen this kind of poverty. I have, whatever it is. And so my experiences, unfortunately, can come across as, oh, my experiences are better, right? Better than. And I think that's a very unhealthy way to look at it. I think going on mission trips can be part of the discipleship process, where you're exposed to something in a different environment, the global church, you grow in your perspective of the world and of the church and those kind of things, and of the kingdom of God. But I do think that we have to be mindful of kind of keeping humility about that. And because some people can come back just mad, dude. And the superiority is a little bit like they're mad, honestly.
I'm mad and I haven't even gone. I'm mad that you went.
Right. Yeah, you're just mad that I go at all. Like, could have recorded more podcasts.
We could have recorded more You could have, answered some comments here to, local Christians, but no. I got to go get sick in Colombia and spend 2 weeks on the mend.
Right.
Or out of the country.
Right. Yeah. I know.
Mike Joseph? Podcast? You're like, no,
I would not do a podcast with you.
I gotta hand out water bottles to brown people in another country, and
they were actually
screw you, Nate.
Yeah, they were actually handing water bottles to me.
Okay, were they empty so you could fill them back up?
Nope. Yeah, but no, the superiority thing, could definitely be an issue.
All right, convince me why I should go on a missions trip.
Okay.
And just remember the answer at the end of this question is a big fat no. but go ahead. Why are missions trips like good for me, good for the people, good for the world?
Right. Okay.
I know I already shit all over it at the beginning, but try your best.
Okay. Thanks. All right. Well, first thing I'll say
I'm in a mood today.
You really are.
I really.
You're pissed off.
I'm pissed.
I don't know why you're so mad.
I don't get it because I don't understand.
And maybe that's why actually you need to go.
No, I don't understand because I've just like the question I asked at the beginning. I've just been hearing this my whole life.
Yeah,
and that's been part of like the church hurt.
Okay.
And why everybody deconstructs and whatever, because it got to the point where the church just felt like they were yelling at us for not being Christians anymore.
Okay.
And so I'm sitting here like, why don't you fix them yelling at everybody in America before you go down to somewhere else and be nice to them and give them water and treat them really nicely because they're poor.
Right.
And so you're down there treating them all nice because they're poor, and then you come back to the States and stand there on the corner at UGA and scream whore at girls through the microphone.
Right.
And that's like as if church down in Colombia could be like, hey, could you send your best megaphone whore yelling Christian down here because we got some whores down here and we need them dealt with.
Right.
So like, could you come down here and do that? As if that's happening. It's like, no, like that's what makes me angry about it because it's like combined with everything else. Like, like you're going to sit here and be horrible people to everybody.
Right.
From what it seems like from the outside.
Sure.
And then you're just going to go be nice to everybody and then put it on Instagrams and say, hey, look at me.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I'm angry about it.
Okay. No, I think that's legitimate anger.
Okay.
Like, I mean, genuinely, I think it's legitimate, like, because we shouldn't act that way. People should not act that way.
And that's why I'm saying fix that. Stay here and fix that shit before you go fix Colombia. Like, that's why I don't get it.
Yeah. I again, like, and this is the hard part, like, because I can't control what every other pastor is going to do.
Yeah.
Right? I can't control what other missionaries or ministries or whatever are going to do. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not being invited into all of those spaces.
Right. And I think it's those people that are the people complaining.
Yeah.
Like, we're losing Christians, but the way we're going to go get them is screaming at them.
Yeah.
Through a microphone.
Yeah. And there is some of that, right? Like, if we scream loud enough, maybe they'll pay attention and turn around and start following Jesus. Yeah. And like, I personally have never seen that I've just never seen that be effective, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, just never. And I'm sure it has to some degree somewhere. Just for me, I've never seen it that way. I mean, we've been just before. Like at UGA there was that's
what I'm talking about.
At UGA there was the street preachers that were coming through campus, or we call them the campus preachers, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. They'd come through campus. They're yelling on their megaphones and same thing you're talking about. And
you're doing it at the worst point in people's lives.
Right. And so like what we started doing to counter that was actually doing open air preaching, but in a completely different manner and way, right? So like our response to that was not to just bash those people or whatever, but let's Let's give them another perspective of Christianity.
Yeah.
That's not the yelling and the screaming. That's maybe actually telling them God really loves you. And God really believes that you're valuable. And God really wants to be in a relationship with you, you know? And God sees your brokenness and actually wants to heal this brokenness in you. And so, you know, like that was our street preaching, if you were, or you know, we called it open air preaching, right? That was our open air preaching there, you know, on campus. You know, you've been at UGA right there at the Tate Center. That's what we did, right?
Tate Center.
Yeah, I love it. And so, and so I do get what you're saying. Like the answer, and I think maybe for everything, the answer is not the yelling and the screaming, right? Whether that is whether that is for trying to fix America, or whether that's trying to get people to get involved in missions or get involved in things of the church. It's not the screaming and the yelling, the guilting, the shaming. Like, no, like, right. That's not how we do things. Like, no. So what, you know, because the reality is I can't scream and yell. Like if I scream and yell at the people that are already in church, like they're not the problem. Right.
Right.
Like, so what I need to do is equip them. I'm talking as a pastor now, right? What I'm thinking of, my perspective is, no, I need to help equip them where they feel confident to go share the gospel with someone that doesn't know Christ, equip them to actually go be able to disciple somebody and to help them grow in their faith. Like that's what, if I can do that, then they're going to multiply into, you know, by seeing people come to know Christ. They're going to help that quote unquote trend turn around, you know.
But you got to tell them how to do it, I guess, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Like if we don't do that, and that's been part of the problem. Like, you know, if the Sunday morning, you know, pulpit is just now a stage performance, right? Like let me be really hyper creative, you know, with my words and wax eloquently about whatever topic or theme I want, you know, and it's all about that speaker and how good he is. Well, okay, that was nice. I'm glad you gave me a good sermon. But like at the end of the day, like I still need to know how to study the Bible for myself. I still need to know how to go share the gospel. Like, where does that happen? And I think pastors need to take a responsibility to actually help train their people, not just on a Wednesday night. Because the reality is, like, if you do these like in special gatherings, like, hey, we're going to do a training for people, The reality is, it's the people that want to do that anyway. They're the ones that are going to show up, not like the new people that actually need to know how to do it. Right. Or the individuals that maybe have been in church for 30 years, but never once been told how to share the gospel are probably not going to show up in that class.
You have to do it on Sunday morning when everyone normally comes.
Correct.
That's what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And a lot of pastors will not do that because that's boring to them. In other words, that doesn't come across as, oh, look at how much I know, or look at how gifted I am as a speaker.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Because I'm trying to captivate an audience, man. I don't have time to give them tools.
Lasers.
right.
Yeah, yes.
And so this gets, as what I'm saying is, you're right. There's been a whole hot mess in Christianity is what I'm getting to for the last 40 years. And I really do think there is beginning to be a turn, right? That actually numbers of people who are going to small churches are increasing. And I think that's a awesome, positive trend.
Okay.
Because we need people to be equipped, to be trained in churches, and so that we don't have the screaming, the yelling, the da-da. We want to inspire people in our churches to reach the community, and we want to inspire people in our churches to not only go to other countries, because, by the way, I don't think everybody should go to another country. Like, I don't think everybody has to go, or everybody should go, even.
Cool.
But I think we can all be a
Good
part.
answer.
I think we can all be a part of it. Yeah, I know you like that answer. But we can all be a part of it, right? We can pray and we can give and we can, you know, be for those and support those who are going. And then there are some who will go as well. But again, I mean, from any given church, you're probably talking about 5% of the people.
By the way, I wanted you to know that none of this me being mad has anything to do with the fact that I told you I was tithing, and then you told me you sent it all to Columbia last week. So it has nothing to do with that.
You just clearing.
Just thought of that. Wanted to clear that up. Yeah,
we're gonna get a letter in the mail.
This is no.
We're gonna get a letter in the mail going. Can we? I would like to request a refund.
Right. Yeah. No, they're gonna call and just be like, "Hey, can we send him his money back?" we don't want him being mad at us.
Right.
No, but I don't care.
Okay.
No,
I'm glad.
That's not what the reason. The reason is what I just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think those are valid reasons.
I feel like I keep coming back to, well, if we have problems with stuff here, why aren't we working on that problem instead of going to other countries? But I don't get it. And so So anyway, put aside all of the problems I have with all that.
Right.
If I was just like, hey, Joseph, should I go on the missions trip that you guys are going? Why should I come?
Okay. Well, I think if I'm saying, all right, hey, well, here's what we're doing on the mission trip. And I will share with you whatever it is we're doing on whatever particular mission trip.
Okay.
And then you go, I think that would be, I can help serve in that area. Or that actually interests me. I'd like to go.
Okay.
I think those are valid reasons.
Should I want to go to see, to get saved, to make people get saved, or
like to share the gospel?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
or
that's
whatever you.
Whatever the Christian language is.
I don't like. Which one is it?
I know.
To make disciples,
right?
Or
yeah, I know. So So if you're just wanting to share the gospel, sure, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a good reason to go on any missions trip?
Sure. Yeah. If you're going on a trip and in that trip there's those opportunities to do that, then absolutely, right? Like the trip I just came back from Colombia, that was really not the trip for that, right?
Okay.
So like if someone came to me and it's like, I just want to see people get saved, and I'm like, well, then probably don't come on this trip.
Okay.
Oh,
I got you. Okay.
Because we're not going to really be doing that. But like, hey, I will have a trip next year, and there we're going, and we'll be going door to door to share Christ, to share the gospel in the villages. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be a great time for you to come.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. I think it really depends on the trip and the person's desire and wants.
Do they have doors down there?
Some do. Some of the villages do, depending on where we're going, but some don't. Actually, my oldest son, the first time we ever took him to a mission trip, toward the end of the trip, I said, well, what do you think about the trip? And he just looked at me and was like, the village is weird. And I said, well, why is it weird? And he said, they don't have doors.
Yeah.
That was his answer. He's like, they don't have doors. And I'm like, you're right. Let's don't call it weird. Let's just call it different, right? It's just different.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's a true statement. There are lots of villages that do not have doors.
All right. Well, I'm still not going to go. All right.
That's fine.
Do you think missions trips are an overall good, and should people keep going on them and doing them?
I think mission trips overall are good when they're really thought through of what are we doing, what's the specific need, those kind of things.
Okay.
I think that, again, I mentioned earlier, the trend really is moving away from just everybody just taking these just kind of random trips for everything, right? Because there really has been this movement of trying to equip and mobilize the local church to go and to do.
The local church wherever you would go.
In other countries, okay? And so I do think mission trips are good. I just think we be mindful of how we're doing it. And I think we also need to ask the question, in conjunction with the mission trips, what other giving are we doing?
Okay.
Right? If all our missions giving is to sending teams, and I would want to say we need to reconsider this. Because I think we need to have giving that's toward ministries and local church endeavors in other countries, so that because the money can really work further for them, And so, like, I do think we need to be mindful of that without creating codependency for local churches. But there are genuinely churches and ministries that are in need of funds, and we can help. And so, how can we do that and do mission trips? How can we get our church to think about the global church as a whole without even having to go on a trip, right? How can they pray for them? How can they become aware of the persecuted church around the world? How can they be aware of the growing church around the world? And I think we should be creative in thinking through these ways, and that hopefully missions is not just something we do like a missions weekend, or here's our 4 mission trips and that's all missions is. So maybe my better answer to all that is that I would hope mission trips would be one part of a larger mission, global mission perspective for each church.
Very good.
Yes, sir. Look forward to seeing you, not on a mission trip.
Right. Next time, here in the basement for the podcast. Sweating as if you were on a mission trip. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, because I said nothing offensive this time or personal.
Nope.
And everyone's going to go home or wherever they go extremely happy.
As always.
All right, that was 4 weeks of missionaries and missions trips.
Yes, sir.
And I never want to think about this ever again.
Well, I'll probably be talking about it this Sunday. So.
Yay.
Yay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, this has been the When I Heard This podcast. You can follow the podcast on Facebook and Instagram at When I Heard This podcast, and X and locals at When I Heard This. Ring the notification bell. Tell everyone that you know about the show, and go to the website where there's t-shirts. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Nate Robinsoff, and you can follow Joseph on Instagram, no matter wherever he may be, at
Rev Joe T.
This has been the When I Heard This podcast, and we will see you guys right here next time.
Bye.